Blog Talk Radio. Hey, welcome everybody to the fourth episode, I believe we're on the fourth, of The Good, the Bad, and the Scandalous of Dating Through the Zodiac. I am April, and I do go by Pisces Moon Goddess on all of my social media outlets. I'm here with my co-host, Apollonia Smith, a.k.a. the Astrology Lady.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to the show.
Yay! So we are going through the Zodiac in just kind of a back-and-forth order. And this bi-weekly show, we are covering the Aquarius man, the good, the bad, and the scandalous of dating the Aquarius man. So what we are going to describe is dating not only Aquarius sun signs, but also men that have Aquarius rising or ascendant sign, Aquarius moon. Maybe they have some planets in Aquarius like Venus, Mars, or Mercury, or they may have planets in the 11th house of their chart, like an 11th house sun or stellium, or maybe a man who has a lot of Uranus energy, Uranus conjunct the sun, Uranus in the first house, so on and so forth. That can count as Aquarian nature. Also, before we get started, we're going to read our mission statement, which is kind of like a little prayer, if you will, that we'd like to say before every show to let you guys know where we are coming from under the Cosmic Council radio network. So the Cosmic Council is dedicated to the teachings of astrological, metaphysical, esoteric, and spiritual knowledge. The members of this council pride themselves on keeping an open-minded approach while spreading love, light, and wisdom in the name of Aquarian unity. We are a group of diverse astrologers, intuitives, metaphysicians, and passionate affiliates. We all come with a broad voice that we are eager to share with the world from a creative, fun, rich, and powerful perspective. Of course, we all have our own flair, spin, and unique way of expressing ourselves creatively. Our goal is to speak to those that are rarely spoken to or for, say the things that are rarely stated, uncover the things that are usually hidden, and to bring light. We feel that it is our responsibility as light bearers to provide counsel, insight, and foresight to those who are seeking to know thyself. Like air, we hover over the situation with you to assist you in viewing the bigger picture. Like earth, we help you dissect the most needed pieces of the puzzle and create practical action steps in order to help you build. Like water, we cleanse, we heal, we quench your thirst. We seek to explore every emotion with you by getting to the root. Like fire, we ignite you by motivating you to take actionable steps for the greater good. We take our duties as a council seriously, and we stand by them diligently. Let me catch my breath. So, the intro song that we played was by J. Cole, and he is an Aquarius sun. It's very apparent in his music when he does get into issues revolving around things that are political and a little controversial, since Aquarian nature can be very rebellious in nature and, you know, stand up for the underdog and kind of, I watched an interview with him on a radio program like a couple years ago, and he said something to the extent of, I look at things from an aerial point of view. I rise above situations and kind of look down at them and assess them. And I was like, wow, that is so Aquarian of him to say that. So anyhow, we will get started. Pardon me, my voice is a little raw from doing a previous show previous to this where I talked too much, okay? So my voice is going. So Apollonia, do you want to step in, and I'll pass the mic to you for a sec?
No problem. I'm still getting over some scratchy voice stuff here, too. Our weather has been super, uber crazy here on the East Coast, and we were snowed in today, so, and I'm still getting over a smidget of a cold or whatever it was from this past week. so pardon my voice as well. But, yeah, J. Cole happens to be one of my favorite Aquarius. And it probably has something to do with him having a Taurus moon as well. You guys know I love Taurus men. Oh, I just love them. But, yeah, he's definitely an Aquarius, and his entire aura to me screams Aquarius, and he's very, what word am I looking for? Aquarius men can have this little earthy type tone to them, and it may deal with the fact that ancient ruler of Aquarius being Saturn. So Capricorn men and Aquarian men can kind of have a similar swag, but Aquarius have like a different kind of flair, like that Uranus paints a little colorful flair over them, so to speak. But yeah, I love J. Cole. He's very handsome, and I love that Taurus moon. So yeah. So however you want to get started, usually we start with, to the audience, if you're newly listening to this program, because we shared it on a different social media platform this time. So typically we start with the good of the sign that we're discussing for men. And then we start with the bad and kind of merge in the scandalous as we go through. So I personally have never dated an Aquarius guy long term. I have dated a couple just for a stint, like literally a few dates, a few phone conversations, but nothing ever sexual or anything like that. But I do have an Aquarius brother, and that was one of the things that always kind of like turned me off from Aquarius men, because I seen so many attributes in them that I saw in my brother. And then this is my younger brother, and I'm like, ew, they act like JoJo. I don't want to be around that. I don't want to, I didn't want to mess around with a guy that reminded me of my little brother in like a sick, twisted way. So, but I did attempt to date a couple of Aquarius. It just never went that far. But what about you, April? Have you ever entertained or dated any Aquarius men?
None that I can think of that I can remember were Aquarian, except for my very first serious long-term relationship that was a high school sweetheart relationship that lasted 5 years.
Wow.
He wasn't an Aquarius, but he had Uranus in the first house in Scorpio, just like me, and he also had Mars in Aquarius. So there were some Aquarian things about his nature and within his personality that were very strong. And I'm, personally, I haven't found myself like uberly attracted to Aquarius men, not like magnetically attracted to them, but I am very attracted to the Aquarian energy and nature because I have a lot of Uranus in the 11th house and stuff going on in my chart. So I do like the Aquarian personality, and the experience that I had with that man that had the Aquarian qualities to him. I think it was part of the glue that made us stick as a couple for a long time, because we were both very quirky and weird together and had our own little weird jokes and stuff that only we understood. We could just say like a word and we both knew what it meant. It meant like this big old long joke. It's kind of hard to explain, but so that was my experience.
That's very true. With having an unspoken language with Aquarius or Uranian energy. Someone mentioned that the other day, and I think it was our Cosmic Council member, Rabina, how she mentioned that Uranus looks like an antenna, so to speak.
Yes, it does. It does.
Yeah, so imagine how aliens, Aquarius are known to be quoted or referred to as aliens, like how they have this little doo-doo-doo antenna on their heads. So an Aquarius will want to beam their thoughts over to you or like just connect with your antenna. So it's a lot of unspoken language when you speak to an Aquarian person, or they really just rather you understand them opposed to them having to like give a long ass essay on how they actually feel. Same example with my brother. He does the same exact thing, and it's very hard because he's an Aquarius Gemini moon, so he has a hard time explaining himself. He'd rather just beam into you and say, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, I don't. You need to, like, tell me. So, yeah, that makes perfect sense where you said you and him had this kind of unspoken language.
Yeah, we had that antenna thing going on for sure. Yep.
Yeah, so if you want to start with the good Aquarian traits, I probably have more bad and scandalous ones today. No offense, Aquarius people, but Aquarian people are interesting characters, but they do have good traits. I will say that. I'll admit that totally.
Okay, yeah. We'll get into the good, and then we will take an intermission. And then we'll get into the bad and scandalous. And calls are going to be answered and taken, I would say, the last, 30 minutes or so of the show for anybody that wants to call in and share their experiences. And that doesn't mean Aquarian men. If you have any of those Aquarius placements, as we mentioned, you are more than welcome to call in, share your experience being an Aquarius man with dating. So let's dive into
and
good
Aquarius
qualities.
fellas, if you want to call in and defend yourself, please do.
Yes, the last show we had a man call in and plead his case a little bit. It always adds some interesting flair to the show, and Aquarius is about flair, so please add your flair.
Definitely.
So, all right, so some of the good traits, and just another little side note is, it really depends on your personal chart and what you're attracted to, I guess, as far as if any of these traits are good or bad, which we will explain in detail. So the positive traits of Aquarius, of course, they're quirky. They march to the beat of their own drum. They go their own way. They don't follow the crowd and the trends, although they are fully aware of the crowd and the trends and what they're doing. They're usually aware of current events and news. They're very progressive thinkers, and they're usually thinking ahead. Like Aquarius and their ruling planet Uranus is known as being like energy of like insight into the future and innovation. And so they will be the type that looks ahead. Like, for example, if you give them, like, if you say, hey, let's go do this, let's go do that, right? Something simple. They may be like, well, in their head, they're playing out this domino effect thing. Like this can lead to this, which can lead to this and this outcome. So therefore, I don't know if I want to do that. Like, they're thinking ahead. They're not the in the moment, spur of the moment type of people. Aquarian men are usually really up to date with technology, up on the newest technology, the newest music. So if you are someone who appreciates stuff like that, like a man that just knows what's going on in the world, like you will enjoy dating an Aquarius man. They will be really interesting to you. And because of the fact that they are a little quote unquote different, when everybody is tending to go one way, they are going to be the black sheep and go the other way. If you like new and different experiences as far as places to go on dates, not doing like the average, like, I show up at your door with flowers and I take you to a restaurant and a movie type of date. If you want something different, Aquarian men will find like, different things to do because they don't want to do the average. They will say, instead of showing up with flowers, they may show up like with a CD of your favorite artist in their hand. Be like, yo, I bought you this. Let's go to this like little spot that nobody really knows about, but it's like a really cool chill environment. The DJ plays really good music that you don't hear in the average club. It's not just like booted butt cheeks, It's like some really good music by artists that are hardly played on the radio. You know what I mean? Like, that's what a date with an Aquarian man may be like, a little sample example. So if you are a more of an open-minded person, which Aquarian, well, here's the thing about Aquarians. Like, since they have two ruling planets, they're ruled by Saturn, as Apollonia already mentioned. Their ancient ruler is Saturn. Their current ruler is Uranus. Saturn is more about, stability. It's about being very mature. Uranus is like, a little bit more of a youthful, rebellious, like, I'm going to go my own way type of energy. And those two combined is kind of like, I am the boss. I'm the boss of myself. Nobody can tell me what to do or where to go. And where was I going with that? Therefore that's why they kind of like go their own way. And they do have a little bit of an air of authority to them, authority and rebelliousness, which, we will get into the bad part of that later in the segment. But, yeah, because of that, I kind of lost my train of thought.
No, it's
I'm a
okay.
Pisces. I'm a Pisces moon, and the sun is on my moon, and it's just making my brain cloud. I go, woo, like just float off. So my bad. So, App, I'm going to pass the mic to you on that note.
Yeah, same thing. My moon is being bombarded by the energy today, too. Me and April's moon, I think, is a degree apart, right?
Mine's at 27 degrees, and yours is 20. What is it again?
Yeah,
25?
I'm 25 degrees. Yeah. 25 degrees.
So very close.
I slept a long-ass time today, and I shouldn't have done that. But, yeah, so April's totally right when it comes to Aquarius men and their music. They are like the underground kings when it comes to music. My brother is the same way. Even when I'm just sitting and chilling with him, he will be playing some off-the-wall shit that I've never heard before, never been up on an artist or anything. And I'm like, damn, who is this? I've never heard this before. And it's like he knows everybody. So say, for example, this is a funny story. I just stumbled upon the Chicago artist Lil Bibby. Literally, I just stumbled upon him like a few weeks ago. And I was like playing with my brother. I was like, Joe, why didn't you tell me about Lil Bibby? First of all, you didn't tell me he was fine as shit. And second of all, and of course my brother is looking at me all crazy like I'm supposed to tell you he looks good. Of course, my brother is heterosexual, but I tease my brothers like that. But yeah, he's like, yeah, you didn't know about him? And I'm like, no, I just really stumbled upon him. So that happens a lot between me and him. I will literally stumble upon an artist and I'll ask my brother about him, and he's like, that's like years old. And they're just really up on music, technology, all of the new shit. Aquarius is already knew about that. And my brother is also the type where say we're riding in the car and a song comes on the radio, and he's like, wow, that shit is like 2-3 months old, and they're just beginning to put that song into rotation. That annoys him really bad. Another good thing about Aquarius guys that I notice, they're attentive, but they don't let you know that they're attentive. And Aquarius will really sit there and act like they're not paying attention to what you're doing or what you're saying. And you'll have to say to them, are you listening to me? But literally they just jotted all of that down in their mind, and they literally know every single thing you just said. They're listening, all of that. So it's been times where I was around my brother and I would say misplace something, and he would say, oh, you set this there, or you did this. It's like from the second you walk in the door, you're in their presence. They're literally beamed into every single thing that you're doing, even if you don't notice that they're paying attention. So they are very attentive people. Another good thing, they can be really good with, like, fixing technical stuff. They can be techie when it comes to fixing stuff, or making something work. Like some kind of way they have that magic touch when it comes to electronics. Maybe it's that Uranus antenna that we were talking about.
Yes.
They just kind of have a magical touch, and it'll just work. I remember once my brother, he was really pissed, and he threw his PlayStation. For whatever reason, he was mad. He threw it. We swore the shit was broke. That later that night, he sat there and finagled that shit, and it was working again like nothing ever happened to it. And to me, looking at it, I was like, wow, I really knew that PlayStation was broke and it was like never going to work again. But they could be really good with their hands when it comes to technical stuff. They are usually very creative also, but they could be very sensitive with their creations or things that they create. And they create systems of how things should work. Like if you go into their closet, everything is aligned and it has a system or a flow of how things should go in there. So they could be really key with their eye of a flow chart or a process, rather, of how things should go. So they're good people to talk to if you want to create that type of flow in your own life. But like I said, usually they don't share those type of things with people, or they don't talk about the stuff that they're good at. So they could have tons of creative talents and stuff that they do, and they just don't discuss it with others. Why? I really don't know. But they probably don't want to be criticized or critiqued, because we're going to talk about that when we get to the bad. But they are not really good at taking constructive criticism. They really internalize it and take it personally, opposed to their opposite. Leo will really pout and show outward emotion that you really hurt their feelings when you criticize them. And Aquarius will more so internalize that pain when you, quote-unquote, hurt their feelings. I find them to be very helpful. You can call on them to do stuff for you or be there for you, but just know it's going to be done on their time. They do have their own clock that they operate under. It's like the alien, the alien or the space alien, they have a different mode of time on their planet. So they're not on the same time or wavelength as anyone else. So if you ask them to do something, definitely know it's going to be hours after you ask them, or they're going to be rebellious and say, oh, well, I'm definitely not going to do it now because you asked me to do it right now, and I just want to, exert that I'm my own person and I don't want to do it right now. Or sometimes it can be days later. It can be days later. So they are very helpful, but just know that whatever gets done is going to be done on their own time.
I hear you on that. And, yeah, I was especially, amused by the description you gave of, the music. You didn't know about this already?
Yeah.
It's so Aquarian. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It's so Aquarian.
And they talk to you just like that.
Yes, they do. And, usually if you know anyone that's a quote-unquote hipster more than likely, I will bet any amount of money that anyone labeled as a hipster has Aquarian energy very strong in their birth chart. If they're not an Aquarius sun, they've got the moon, the rising, Uranus somewhere, 11th house. They got some Aquarian stuff in the mix, because the hipsters are the ones that are like, they know about everything before everyone else, and when everybody else knows about it, it's not cool anymore, you know? Like, excuse me, like I remember, you know, when we were big fans of The Weeknd, when his mixtapes were out before he was mainstream, and then as soon as he became mainstream, like a lot of the comments underneath his, you know, things that were put out for promo on social media was like, oh my God, like now all these people think he's cool. Like, we know about it. I've been listening to him since, you know, 2010. Like, I knew about him before you. Now you're just a follower.
And that is exactly, it's like they have to let you know that they were up on it way before you.
Yeah, it's so true. That's hilarious. It's so funny. Yeah. So
it wouldn't be an Aquarius if they didn't let you know that, hey, I already knew who that was, and you're late. You're definitely late.
Yeah, very true. That's that progressive thinking. That's that futuristic, you know, that antenna already foresaw all that stuff as being cool before you did. So gotta let it be known. One last thing I wanted to note that's really a really good quality about Aquarian men before we get into our intermission. Our intermission is, you know, since they are very progressive thinkers and they're very think outside the box people, and they will be the ones to tell you and say things like, I think outside the box. If you want someone that can open your mind to new and exciting things that you've never thought of, thinking about things in ways that you've never even thought of them, then an Aquarian man can definitely show those things to you and open your mind, because they don't just, you know, look at the surface level or even just below the surface level. They look all around that damn surface and behind it and above it, way over there, that direction, that. They look at everything, all corners of everything. And Aquarian men usually tend to be pretty, like, all-inclusive and accepting, and they will be the ones to stick up for the underdog, fight for the underdog.
Yep.
And Aquarian men are one of the signs that are known for being very open to dating outside of their race or their religious background, they're very, like, universal people. They kind of see everybody as being, like, the same. Like, I'm no different from you, but at the same, it's like we're all the same, but at the same time we're different. And I think that's why Aquarius is one of those energies that are difficult to decipher from everybody, including we astrologers, is because they're like, that's their mentality. I'll treat you the same as everybody else. We all deserve equal treatment, but yet you still have to respect the fact that we are individuals who are unique in our own ways, you know. So because of that, they're very open to dating people who are different. They're attracted to different. They're attracted to people who have piercings, tattoos, colored hair, wacky haircuts. They're very open-minded in that way. So if that's what you like, then go for an Aquarian man.
Yeah, that's very true. My Aquarius brother is like that. He has an affinity for different looking females. Like when I sit back and take notice of what he's attracted to, even though I'm not even going to go there, with the type of girls that he actually brings home, opposed to like what his dream girl is. And I usually try to tap into my younger brother's energy and see what type of wavelength they're on. But I noticed that he is very attracted to different looking girls, or quote-unquote, not your round-the-way fillets, even though, like I said, that's what he brings home, but that's probably all is around the way. But, and that is true. Aquariuses are very into, I notice they like to express their uniqueness and individuality as far as their way of thinking and their taste, opposed to you're black, I'm white, he's green, he's purple. Like an Aries man is more militant about who he is, self, and standing up for what is like him, opposed to Aquarius men, it's their individualities that they're into expressing more so than physical attributes.
Yeah, that is so true. I love how you describe that, because that is absolutely true.
And don't bully someone around an Aquarius. They will usually root for the underdog. Like, Aquariuses are probably those people that you see on random YouTube videos that are like jumping into fights and breaking up fights. They probably have a lot of Uranian energy if they see someone getting bullied. And I even had an Aquarius friend back in the day. She was the type where she would only go off of her perception. Like, say if you walked up to someone and you seen a person like beating the holy shit out of someone, and she's just like trying to stick up for whoever looks weaker or whoever looks smaller or whatever, but lo and behold, she didn't get the whole story that this person may have spit on this other person or stole something from them. So Aquariuses will kind of jump without the entire story all the time, just because their perception of someone that's weaker, that's being picked on, and they'll do that, you know, that attorney shit. Like, my brother is an Aquarius and my younger sister is also an Aquarius rising. So, say for example, if the siblings are going in on my sister, my brother will come in the room like, hey, you guys need to stop that and this, and we're like, where the F did you come from? You're not her fucking attorney. Get out of here. Nobody's talking to you. And she does the same thing for him. Like, she's like, well, you guys, you know, JoJo has this problem or he has that problem, and you guys shouldn't really just keep picking on him like that. And they do this all the time. So it's definitely that Aquarian energy that, you know, makes them want to play each other's attorney and root for whoever is being picked on at the moment.
Interesting. Yeah. So if you go on a date with an Aquarian man, don't be picking on people that are different. Don't make fun of like a handicapped person or make fun of somebody's nationality. Yeah. That Aquarian man will be like, oh, well, they will ask you these questions to make you look and feel stupid for making fun of that person, and that date won't go very well. You may not hear back from them.
Very true.
Like, what makes
my
you
Libra
think this?
My Libra sister does that. Like, say if we're out and about and she's like, oh, my God, look at this bitch ugly-ass shoes. She knows she shouldn't have worn those. Like, Libras, of course, are, like, clocking what somebody has on. And my Aquarius rising sister, she's like, well, maybe those are all the shoes she had. Maybe she's going through some hard times. Like, she's just so Bria doesn't even do that around her anymore. You know, my sister is always flipping the coin and saying, well, maybe those are all the shoes she had, or maybe that's the best she could do, or you don't know what that person is going through. I would hate for someone to just call my shoes ugly and, you know, that whole thing. So,
my God.
if you're the type of person that does that, don't do it when you're out with an Aquarius guy, because he will kind of look down on you because of that.
Woo, man. That is so true. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So we're just going to take a quick intermission music break, and then we will come back with the bad and the scandalous of dating Aquarian men, and then we will take some calls the last, 20, 30 minutes of the show. So let's jam out to some Aquarian jams right now. And I knew about him before everybody else. Just wanted to say that. back to the good, the bad, and the scandalous of dating an Aquarius man. And our intermission song was by none other than The Weeknd, one of the most famous Aquarians of the moment. And yes, of course, my hipster Aquarian nature wanted to play a song of his that is not on the radio, thank you very much. I'm pretty sure you guys have never heard that song, but it's the jam.
Nope, I've never heard it before, ever.
See, I knew about it before you. What's wrong with you?
And I consider myself a Weeknd fan, but, you know, I appreciated The Weeknd before he even cut his hair. You know, I was so into the whole nappy-haired Maddie shit that he was doing. I liked him better with that hair, but since he cut it, I feel like he lost his Uranian flair. Like, you know, Aquarians have to have that signature different thing, and I think he just kind of deadened it when he cut the hair, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, like that antenna that was growing out of his head, that Uranian antenna, he cut it off. So, like, is he not going to be different anymore?
And his hair was what made him different. If you didn't know The Weeknd, all you had to say was, that dude with that nappy-ass hair, and you just knew who the person was talking about. And now he just ruined it.
Oh, my
yeah,
gosh.
So
that is too on point, but it's so true. Yeah, and you know, he also says he doesn't want to be labeled as a sex symbol. Like, he feels weird about that, and that he was trying to be the anti-sex symbol. That's why he grew his hair out. Just let it do whatever the hell it wants to do. And that is so, like, super Aquarian. Like, do you guys want me to be this buff man with these tattoos and my shirt off and a clean cut? Well, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to grow this big-ass tree thing out of my head. See who finds that sexy.
Yeah, exactly. He
But that only made women love him more, like, oh, he's so unique.
Yes, and that was what I was saying about him too. I was like, oh my God, he's such a fucking weirdo. I love it. But I'm an Aquarius rising too, late degree Aquarius rising, and I can appreciate the Aquarius charm, the Aquarius, all the eccentricities of Aquarius people, but when it comes to, like, wanting to date them, it's like, get away from me. I don't know why that is. I really can't explain it. But yeah, we can go ahead and get into the bad and the scandalous. If you want to start, or if you want me to start.
Yeah, I think you helped usher it in pretty well. So, once again, and of course, since this is an Aquarian show, I have to, of course, give the disclaimer that this does not apply to every single Aquarius, and it depends on your personal tastes, whether or not these qualities are quote-unquote bad. But, so some of the more darker traits of Aquarius men, I guess you can say, the number one complaint that is heard is how cold and unemotional they can come off as, quote-unquote, aloof. They are not the most emotionally demonstrative men. You cannot expect these men to be down with romantic, sloppy PDA, to be all over you all the time. Babe this, babe that. Post pictures of you on their social media. Look at my gorgeous queen, my princess. They are not that type. Their opposite sign, Leo, is the big-time kings of the showmanship with their relationship like that. But with Aquarius being the opposite, no. That's not what they're down with. They're a little more private, a little more... they're not extra when it comes to relationships like that. If you're looking for a man to be extra about you, do not get an Aquarius man. Do not expect them to cry with you or for you. If you come to your Aquarian man with an issue and you are crying, they're going to stand there and look at you like with probably just this blank face. You know the emoji that has no mouth? It's just a pair of eyes. That is an Aquarius man or woman. We're talking about the men here, though. The alien emoji is also Aquarius and the robot, in my opinion. But, yeah, they will look at you like, like, okay, for any, like, old school Star Trek The Next Generation fans, if you remember the character Data, I remember clearly because I was a big nerdy fan of this show when I was a kid. There was an episode where Data was trying to study human emotion and love. And he was, like, seriously, like, looking at them and turning his head with this blank face and trying to understand human emotion, love. What is that? So they reach out and they touch each other? Is that what they do? That's what I imagine an Aquarius man to be like when they operate on the negative side of their energy. They don't really get all those emotions. The thing is, they're more logical thinkers, and you know, they like J. Cole said, they take an aerial point of view of situations. To them, getting caught up in messy emotions, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't help an issue. It doesn't help to, you know, they're more like, okay, let's figure out what an issue is and then figure out how to resolve it and, you know, get over it and see how we can continue. You know what I mean? They're more like that. So if you're looking for someone to sit there and just cry in the moment with you and comfort you and be like, oh, babe, it's okay, you know, no, don't expect that man to be like that. Let's see. So, yeah, they're not traditional romantics or traditional in any sense. So if you are looking for a man to be more on the traditional side, you know, male roles are this and female roles are that. Generally speaking, the Aquarian man is not going to be like that. You know, their progressive thinking is going to be like questioning tradition. Why is it that men, quote unquote, should be like this and women should be like this? You know, they're going to question tradition all the time. So if you want someone to, like, you know, you want to raise children with someone in a traditional church-going home, and the man goes to work and comes home, the woman cooks. An Aquarian man with a heavy Aquarian energy, they may not be down with that. They're going to challenge those roles and be like, well, why can't I be the one that stays home and cooks and you go to work? Like, why can't it be flipped? They're going to question everything, okay? Another thing is they can come off as being arrogant and have a quote-unquote God complex. Actually, I find that the majority of the people ruled by the outer planets tend to be like this because the outer planets are further away from the Earth and, you know, said to be closer to the heavens, quote-unquote. So since their thinking is so way out there, they're like, my thinking is above all humans. And, you know, they'll look down at human beings a lot of times as if they're not one of us, and, you know, they'll kind of treat people as such sometimes, and that's where that you didn't know this already type of stuff comes in, and they come off as know-it-alls. And the last thing I'm going to say before passing the mic is since they are, Aquarius is a sign of the groups of like-minded individuals and friends. A lot of Aquarian men, you can't, like, get them, it's hard to get them, like, on a solo date, like alone, one-on-one, intimate, like, just look each other in the eyes and hold hands and talk, because a lot of them are very much into their friends and groups of friends. So if you want to go out with them, it may sometimes be, like, them inviting you to a bar or to somewhere, to a friend's house with all these friends around, and it's like, how am I supposed to get to know just you when all your buddies are here? You know, it's like, or they may always have a house full of their friends, and you're like, I want to come over and spend time with you. And then they're like, yeah, just come through. You know, only my boys are here. And it's like, really? Are you serious? And they may put their friends before you at times. It may be hard to pin them down because they're always involved with their friends all the time. So that's kind of the bad side of dating an Aquarius. So I'm going to pass the mic to App now.
Yeah, you touched on a lot of good points, April, especially with them and their friends always being around. When I did date an Aquarius guy, it was always when he picked me up, he was just dropping off his friends, or as soon as he's dropping me off, he's picking them up. And so a lot of times our car rides and stuff would always have his friends in the car, or stuff like that. It was rather annoying, that part. Like, why do you always have to be around your friends? But anyway, another thing I noticed with the bad or dark-sided part of dealing with an Aquarius man, most women have an issue with them working or holding down a consistent, conventional job. And that's usually because Aquarius men like to just dance to their own beat. So if they are working a 9 to 5 when you meet them, and then next thing you know, like 3 or 4 weeks later, he's like, "Oh well, yeah, I'm not really feeling that job. I'm just not gonna go anymore." If you've seen that movie Office Space, I really deem that main character as an Aquarius man, or either he had a Uranian transit that really just made him say, fuck this job, because an Aquarius will literally wake up and say, man, fuck this job, and totally go on to something else. And you're like, well, hey, how are you going to eat? How are you going to live? And they're like, well, I'll figure it out. Something will come. And so a lot of women have issues with them when it comes to working consistently, because it's usually something else that he wants to do that puts his freedom at the top of the list. And that's usually why. It's not that Aquarius men have a problem with working. It's just that they want work to take a back seat to their freedom. And a lot of humans in their mind are able to put work before freedom. We will be a slave to a job, per se, and they are just not with that shit. Like, hey, if you can be flexible with me and work with my schedule, I'm totally there. But if you're not going to be flexible with my freedom, then fuck off. That's how they look at work. Aquarius men on the in the dark-sided realm as well, they can be very quirky. They can have a long list of fucking pet peeves. And lo and behold, or unbeknownst to you, they haven't issued their list of pet peeves to people around them. So they wait until you touch that sensitive spot, or you do that one thing that they hate, and then they go ballistic. And I'm like, how the fuck was I supposed to know that that was your pet peeve? Another example, using my brother, a lot of Aquarius people in general, they hate loud chewing, they hate smacking. Like, so if you're a loud or a nasty eater, an Aquarius man is really going to be turned off by you. They also don't like people that have spit or saliva, like in the cracks or crevices of their mouth. So make sure your mouth is clean if you want to entertain an Aquarius man. Or if you're eating, make sure your napkin is close by, because that's really going to turn him off. Example, my brother usually eats by himself or not close to the table with the family, because he doesn't want to hear everybody chewing. He doesn't want to hear you smacking. One time I was sitting on the couch next to my brother at my mom's house, and I was eating me a bag of chips or whatever. And the next thing I know, like, he just fucking stops and mutes the TV, and he looks over at me. And I'm like, what's your problem? And he's like, do you have to fucking smack those chips that loud? And I said, Jojo, what am I supposed to do? They're chips. They're hard. They're crunchy. He then gives me a lesson on how to eat chips. You're supposed to put the chip in your mouth, moisten it, and then continue to chew. That's what he told me, to lower the sound of the crunch, you're supposed to moisten the chip with your spit and then continue to chew.
Wow.
He
so
does
he was
not
like
want
very
anyone.
Scientific.
What did you say?
I said, so he's very scientific. Like, look here, human. This is the science of eating food as a human being. Okay, I'm an alien. I'm gonna teach you right now. Like,
very scientific, because my grandmother even talked about one time she had to take him somewhere, and she stopped somewhere and got her a breakfast sandwich, and she's like eating her sandwich, and she said by the end of the car ride, he was totally pissed off and had a mood swing, and it was because of how she was eating her sandwich. And he said, I should not hear the food going down your throat.
Oh, Lord.
And if you talk to many Aquarius people, they will explain to you that they have a huge pet peeve when it comes to eating. They don't like to hear people eat Skittles, Starburst, Captain Crunch, shit that's too hard, or you have to make a lot of noise to eat. Don't eat that shit around them. Another pet peeve when it comes to Aquarius. Now, they can have little things that they do, like they can fidget with shit, like say if they keep plucking a table, or imagine when you were back in elementary school and there was always that one boy in your class that's fucking making beatbox noises on his desk, or, making a beat on his desk. That was an Aquarius kid. Or if he's always making beatbox sounds with his mouth, that's an Aquarius person. Another Aquarius guy I dated, I used to talk to him on the phone sometimes, and he would always be fucking making beatbox noises randomly. And I asked him one day, I was like, did you used to make beats or something? Like, why the fuck do you keep doing that? And he's like, oh, no, I've just been doing that since I was a kid. Aquarius shit. So it's always something that they do that's usually rhythmic, that and I guess that's not totally dark-sided, but it's always something that they do that's really rhythmic that can be annoying. Like, they hate annoying, quirky things, but it's something that they do in return that's very annoying or quirky. Another thing that I notice about dark-side Aquarius men, they can be very aloof, very spur of the moment, running off, not telling you really where they're going, what they're doing. They really don't want you to keep any tabs on them. They can be very turned off by you questioning them. An Aquarius guy will really tell you, like, hey, don't be blowing up my phone. Don't be texting me constantly, and don't get an attitude if I don't pick up and stuff like that. So rarely will they answer the phone when you call the first time. Rarely will they text you back or anything like that the first time. And that is a main issue that women say that they have with Aquarius men, is that he's too aloof. We can be going strong for 2 or 3 days, and then the next thing I know, I don't hear from him for 2 or 3 days. And that's common with most air sign men, but it can be very extreme with an Aquarius man, because it's like he kind of just falls off the radar, like he drops off the planet. And then he'll just pop up like, hey, I'm back, that type of thing. So their disappearing acts are very cold and calculating, per se. Another dark-sided trait when it comes to Aquarius guys, I guess, or issues that women say that they deal with, they pace the floor a lot, walking back and forth and pacing the floor. It seems like they never get a deep, calm sleep. So if you are a type of woman that wants a deep, calm sleep with your man, or you feel like your man needs to go to bed when you go to bed, and, that type of thing, that could turn you off, because he's usually up a few times throughout the night, or he doesn't sleep deeply how everyone else sleeps. It's like kind of a roller coaster act when it comes to his sleeping patterns. And I noticed that a lot of women have said that turns them off, like why he just won't lay down and go to fuck the bed with everybody else. But I think they're restless. They're so restless, that restless energy. They only, they're the aliens. They only need a couple of hours to really sleep and recharge, and they're up and back at it again. So
true.
Yeah, so don't be surprised if you guys have a really good roll in the hay and you're like, oh, yeah, we're going to lay in bed and cuddle and chill and sleep. And then after about 2 hours, he's up and on to the next thing and doing something totally different. So those are some of the bad things. I can't really think of any super scandalous things besides the fact that an Aquarius man, he may talk to you about a threesome if he's really scandalous, or he may talk to you about fucking one of your friends if he's really scandalous. And when you give him the look of death, like, are you crazy, he would really look at you back like, what's the big deal? Because Aquarius energy are very into crowds. The more the merrier. So they really aren't bothered by high numbers. Now, another thing, an Aquarius man would not be turned off if your body count is high, ladies. If you've had a lot of guys in your life or something, don't be embarrassed to tell an Aquarius man, because he looks at that like, shit, she's got a lot of experience. And I have noticed that Aquarius men are kind of attracted to quote-unquote ratchet or whorish type females. That doesn't bother them or turn them off in the slightest. They like slutty girls with a hint of class to her. That's why I said I think that Saturnian energy comes in, but that Uranian flair, like, yeah, she got a little class to her, but she's still a slut type of thing. Hence why you always hear the Weeknd talk about, like, how he likes slutty girls and, bitches that'll, like, give him head all night and snort lines of coke with him and shit like that. They're very into that. They can also be very sexually selfish in bed, and I think they have that in common sometimes with Leos. Now, it depends, because I hear Leo women kind of go on stage in the bedroom, but a Leo man wants you to serve him in the bedroom. So Aquarius men can share that with Leo men, like they want you to serve the god or something. And
the god.
A lot of women say that's a problem. Huh?
Yeah, you know what? That just reminds me. Yeah, I think The Weeknd has like a quote in one of his songs where he says, "Do something for the god or for the dawn," or something like that.
Yeah, he does. You are so right. And they share that with Leo men. Like, that is so right, April. He does have a lyric where he says that it's like they want you to perform for them. They want you to do whatever you're going to do for long periods of time. So say if you're massaging an Aquarius man's back or a Leo man's back, they want you to do that shit all night. Or if you're giving him fellatio, he wants you to do that shit all night. Like, everything is just please them forever. So that can be very annoying when it comes to being involved with them sexually, not wanting to give up their turn. Or they could simply rush through pleasuring you so it can hurry up and get to their turn. So that can be a problem. And that could be a reason why women end up cheating on them also. Now, that's another thing. They are into open relationships, and I have seen Aquarius men forgive their woman for cheating. Of course, it depends on his chart and other aspects as well, but he'll be like, hey, well, shit, we can still be cool. You do your thing. I'm going to do mine. and we'll still be together. But, you know, he may never look at you the same, but he's totally okay with you being with someone else if need be. I'm trying to think of anything else scandalous that they may do, super scandalous, besides fucking one of your friends and thinking that it's not a big deal, or what are you so upset about. They will cancel on you at the spur of the moment. Say if you have a date with them and, you know, you've been looking forward to this time with them, if one of their homeboys call or their friends call and that shit is way more cooler in their eyes or so much more fun or more important, they will cancel on you at the drop of the hat, and they will expect you to be totally okay with that. And you better not bitch them out about it when they see you again, because they don't want to talk about that. That's done. We've moved past that, and I did what I wanted to do. So that's a lot of the times they don't want to talk about the past. They don't want to talk about old shit. They want to sweep that under the rug. And they share that same thing with Leos. Leos don't want you to rub their nose in shit. Like, I don't want to talk about that. Let's move on. You still mad about that shit? That's how they respond to you wanting to discuss how they hurt you or how they wronged you. They really want you to move past it and gloss over it. And that's a lot of times what women say that they encounter, or people say they encounter, dealing with Aquarius men. So did you have any scandalous things to add, I guess, before we take our caller?
Yeah, I'll just add a couple of things, and then we'll start taking callers. We've got 3 people holding. We appreciate you calling in. Actually, I think Rabina, our Cosmic Council member, may be calling in, too.
Oh, really? Anyway, she might have something to add, too.
I hope so. All right. The only scandalous things that I was going to add was, you know how you said Aquarian men can be open to open relationships. Aquarian energy can be very open to polyamory. And for those who don't know what that means, that just means dating a number of people at the same time and just being okay with it, and not even always hiding it either. Just kind of everybody can just we all just get along, and you know, you just all have to accept the fact that I'm dating different people. And also, and I know this may be a little controversial, but just in my studies, I have noticed Aquarian energy being one of the placements in astrology in someone's chart that is open to being bisexual, and that even includes the men. So I'm not saying every Aquarius man is bisexual, but ladies, don't put it past your man if he's Aquarian to say some stuff like, I'll be gay for pay, or, well, yeah, he's a handsome-looking dude. I mean, and actually mean it. You know what I mean? And maybe you may think, oh, he may be like, oh, I'm not dating any other women. I'm only dating you. But he said women. He may actually, you know, be a little experimental on the side, because that's that. And I'm not, you know, dissing anybody who is bi or homo or homosexual or anything, but that's that alien thing. Like, you have a disconnection with the traditional human roles of male and female. So you're open to, you know, hey, it's a free-for-all. I mean, David Bowie was he was an Aquarius rising, and he was known for being bi, but yet he married Iman and had a family, you know, but he was like, yeah, sure. I mean, if a man and I come across each other and, you know, we do our thing, you know, like a lot of Aquarian men are open to stuff like that. That's all I got to say about that.
Very, very true. Very, very true. Make sure if you are not interested in bisexual men, make sure you scour his chart. Hopefully he doesn't have a lot of feminine personal planets added onto that. That could definitely add to that. And I have Venus in Aquarius too, so some things apply to me, not all of the stuff tonight, but I'm an Aquarius rising, and my Venus is also in Aquarius, so I definitely have always been drawn to things like polygamy. I see the benefit in it. Now, I'm not into, like, everybody, like, getting together and smashing and all that kind of stuff. I'm not into that, but I like the unity aspect of it, and I like the big family aspect of it, of, hey, if there were more mothers, meaning myself or maybe two other moms, that would kind of give me some more freedom, meaning my man won't be up my ass all the time because he has some other chicks to pay attention to as well. Sometimes if I want to cook dinner for 2 nights and then she cooks dinner for 2 nights and we rotate washing clothes, like I'm looking at it from a team-oriented perspective, and I know that's very controversial, but also I have had a past life before where I was one of 5 wives, and I shared that experience on my YouTube channel because it was very prominent, and I've always been intrigued since I was a girl with polygamy-oriented families. So before it was even like a huge thing in the media for all the TV shows and stuff like that, I always had a thing for it, and now I know why. One, because I had that experience in a previous life, and 2, I have my Venus in Aquarius and also my rising sign. So I just thought I'd add that when it comes to them being into polyamory and polygamy and stuff like that, Aquarius men. So don't look at them crazy if they mention it. And I will have to say, Aquarian energy is not for everybody. So I always, when I talk to my female clients that are entertaining an Aquarius man or they attract Aquarius men, don't try to box them in. Don't try to force them to be the norm because they aren't here to be the norm. That's not what they're here to do. So don't try to box them in and don't try to make them feel bad because of who they are. If you just aren't cool with that shit, then you need to move around. Don't make them feel bad for the type of man that they are because, I mean, of course, if he's doing some scandalous-ass shit, definitely, speak your piece, but just know it's not going to end, so you need to move around and react accordingly if you can't stomach the energy from an Aquarius man.
Word up.
Yeah.
All right, so now we've got just a little over 10 minutes left, so we will take a few calls. Let's see, who's been holding the longest? Looks like 602-918. Hang on. Okay, 602-918, you're on the air. Hello.
Hey, ladies, it's Rabina.
What up? I knew it was you.
Hey, how you
That's
doing?
That's the Aquarian, right?
All right.
I knew it was you.
Yeah, I saw Aquarius. I was like, oh, my God, because my father's an Aquarius. And I got this story real quick. I know you got other callers, so I'll be real quick. But I got this story about this Aquarius guy I was dealing with in my teenage years. But basically, to make the long story short, he was a very cool guy. You know how Aquarians can be really nice, great friends and everything like that. And he was a homie lover friend. You know, we weren't in a relationship, but we were having sex. I think I was about 16 at the time. But come to find out, he was having sex with my older sister. She was 2 years older than me. And we both didn't know it. Yeah.
Textbook Aquarius move.
When we both found out, we actually had a falling out. And actually, it wasn't me. My sister's a Scorpio, so she took it hard. Even though I was the one dealing with him first. And she was basically like, you're not my sister no more, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, he basically came between me and my sister. So, yeah.
Leave it to a Scorpio to shit on her sister for a piece of penis.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. She was like, "You're not my sister no more. I wish you weren't born." You know how they can go for the throat. I was like, wow.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Scorpio ladies out there, be mindful of how you treat your family and your friends when it comes to a meaningless piece of penis. Be mindful, ladies. That just breaks my heart.
Especially
now, my
an Aquarius
father,
one that doesn't give a shit.
I know. Now, my father, like, bless his heart, I love him to death, and his saving grace is that his moon is in Cancer. However, he still got some, like, dark-sided Aquarian traits, especially when he was younger. Like, for instance, we grew up in the Seventh-day Adventist church, very strict and everything like that. He's still religious to this day, but had a stack of porno magazines. So I got corrupted at a young age because me and my older sisters, we snuck into his drawer and saw these mags and stuff. So, yeah, so that's part of it. And then also when my older sister was around like 18 and she was dating this guy, my father ended up dating her boyfriend's sister, which was just kind of weird and kind of close for comfort. You know what I mean?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, so Aquarians can sometimes not have that loyalty thing going on. Like they just don't get it sometimes.
And they don't, they're very boundaryless people. Like, everyone's a free-for-all. Like, if they look at if they're single and their daughter brings home her college schoolmate and he likes her, that's totally cool in his eyes.
Yeah.
Even though he's like 30 years her senior, and, you know, he'll look at his daughter like, what's the big deal? Why are you crying about me banging out your homegirl?
Yeah, they don't discriminate with age or anything.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. And, yeah, my dad, when he was in his 30s, he was dating, like, she was 20 years old. No, 19, matter of fact. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, at least she was legal.
Yeah, my dad used to be a Mac. When my parents got divorced, my dad turned into a Mac, for real. But that's all I wanted to say. Y'all are doing a great job. I enjoyed this show. Many blessings. I'll talk to y'all soon.
Rabina, with your dad being an Aquarius Cancer, oh, yeah, he has some tricks up his sleeves.
You know he did. He's married to his third wife now. He's on his third marriage. So, yeah.
Wow. Very interesting.
Well, yes. Well, thanks
for calling and sharing, Rabina. We appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. Many blessings, y'all.
Peace. All right, so we've got a little over 5 minutes left. We've got area code 254392. You're on air. Good, the bad, and the scandalous of Aquarius. Hello.
Hello, ladies. Unfortunately, I tuned in late. I'm Lydia from Texas, and I'm listening to y'all, and my stomach is just turning because everything y'all are talking about, I can vouch for. Like I'm literally sick to my stomach. The Aquarius that I dated not too long ago, he tried to talk to my sister after the fact. Like,
oh my God.
And he had, like, a couple times we were talking and he made comments that I looked at him like, is this ninja gay? Like, who says that? Like, he would say something. I said, what the fuck? Like, what you mean? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I think I have to throw up after I get off the phone. Like, I'm just, when I say never in my life will I date another Aquarius man, I don't care where they moon at, I don't care where nothing's lined up at. I would never. I don't care if it's the only penis left on this earth. Like, y'all just don't understand. Like, everything y'all said about, like, this shit is just too deep. Like, oh my God. Like, I can't wait to call my sister and tell her, like, this, oh my God.
Well, definitely tell her to catch the replay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, every single thing y'all said, every freaking thing, especially like gay thing. When y'all got to that bisexual, I said, oh my God, he probably was taking dick. Like, I just,
Lord,
I just don't understand everything.
Wow.
Like, he made a comment about my sister. We was talking. He made a comment, and I gave him the eye. Like, bitch, you tried it. And then after the fact, he tried to hit my sister up on a social media account, and my sister called, hey, so-and-so hit me up. She was like, he just being funny. I said, no, bitch, he trying to talk to you. Because I already learned he think he King Dingling and he can get anybody. And I said, watch. And sure enough, he tried to talk to my sister. Like, this shit is...
That is... Wow. Well, yeah, Lydia, I think you should definitely steer clear of Aquarius men because their energy does not vibrate with yours at all. Wow,
yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah, and
since
they can be alien-like, they don't always understand the regular quote unquote human concepts of family. So I mean, it doesn't matter if it's your sister, your brother. If they think they're attractive, they're gonna go after them. So
Ravina is the one that just called in, right? Because I'm a Scorpio.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate her sister had to take it that deep, but yeah, that shit is crazy. Like I swear y'all got me like, no matter who I talk to, what's your sign? Nope, I can't. Don't talk to me. I am not available. No. Like, oh my gosh.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for listening. Thank you for listening, Lydia. Definitely let your sister listen to the replay and steer clear of those Aquarius men.
I sure will. I sure the heck will.
All right.
Thank y'all, ladies.
Okay.
Peace. Right,
okay, we've got just a little over 2 minutes left. We can quickly take this last call, 770-374. You're on the air with the Cosmic Council. Hello.
Hey, ladies. How you doing tonight?
What up?
Hi. How's it going?
It's good. It's Amina from the ATL. I was just listening to the show because I've never actually dated an Aquarius or anything, and I'm happy I haven't. Hearing everything, well, all the scandalous and bad things that come along with it. But it does kind of sound like my brother, which is a Capricorn. So I don't know if he's a cuspy or what, but some of the traits definitely sound like him. So
he may have
if he's a Capricorn, he may have some planets in Aquarius.
Yeah. Okay, because some of the things definitely sound like him. I'm like, because my brother does things like, okay, I don't think he's gay, but he's done things like arch his eyebrows. He just dyed his hair blonde, and I'm just like, why are you doing stuff like this? Like, this is really, it's really out there to me. And yeah, you've never done this before, and then all of a sudden you just arch your eyebrows. I'm like, oh, I'm not really feeling that. I know some men do it because they're hairy, but he has no excuse. I'm like, no. And then you dye your hair blonde. I'm like, are you Cisco right now? Are you trying to be
Dennis Rodman
in the Kanye? Like, right? Like, what is up? Like, I'm not feeling that. So I don't know. It's something is a little feminine about, Aquarius men. I've seen that, but I've never dated one, so that's really, really good. But very interesting show, and I definitely have to catch the recap because I missed the beginning. But great job,
thank
ladies.
you for listening, Amina, and being a loyal listener. We really appreciate it.
No problem, ladies.
All right.
All right,
Have
well, I'm going to let y'all go ahead and end your segment. You too.
Thank you. Wow, so some good input. And
yes.
Just a disclaimer, of course, we have nothing against men who are bi or homosexual at all. And we understand not everybody has heterosexual relationships. But, mainly women tune into our show and women who date men. So that's kind of why comments like that are coming up. But if you are bi, you don't mind dudes that are a little bit different and have a little bit of a feminine side or quirky side, Aquarian men are for you. So,
I agree.
Yeah, that ends our show.
Gemini women usually appreciate Aquarius men very much.
Oh, yeah, fellow air signs for sure. But, yeah, that ends our show for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for calling in, tuning in, listening. Again, this is April. I can be found under Pisces Moon Goddess on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And Apollonia, where can you be found?
TheAstrologyLady.com, The Astrology Lady on Instagram, Miss Astrology Lady on Twitter because The Astrology Lady wouldn't fit, and same on Facebook.
All right, cool. Well, peace out, everybody. Our next show in 2 weeks is going to be about Gemini men, so stay tuned.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to miss the Gemini episode. Scorpio ladies, you especially.
Word. All right. Peace, everybody.
All right. Good night.